which understood that there is a quest, there is a confusion, there is a, query which is taking a bigger and bigger shape in common man. What is it all about? IoT, BDA, augmented reality. एक reality पता थी, virtual reality, then augmented reality, then human augmentation. You have so many things. What should I study? Can I have any clarity on this thing? So there is a company, Gartner. Gartner is an IT research and analysis company. They found an opportunity of business in this thing also. They created a tool which can be applied to all such technological applications happening. And they say, by research they have proven, it's a branded tool, it's not available, you have to contact that company and they will do a survey for a particular application or a particular domain in which you want to understand the technologies. But they say, I'm sure most of you are physiotherapists here or medicos here, so you all know the curve of action potential of an excitable tissue. I think you all have done that. So by chance, their hype tool, the outcome of that hype tool, they call it a hype tool. And the outcome of that hype tool is almost similar to the action potential curve of an excitable tissue that we study in physiology in first year. They say a technology drills, struggles, so many phases, after which it may be adopted in mainstream. And when they say that it is in its final stage, it is actually not happening, but at least 20% of the target population has already adopted that technology, and now we can be slightly sure. It can again reverse, but now it can be slightly sure that yes, this may happen. So our academia, our infrastructure development people, our policy making people should start thinking of such technologies which are in the final stage of that hype curve. I did not prepare a slide for that because I thought I should have a talk. But because it's an action potential graph, you can easily understand. I'll just go briefly. The initial is, they say the initial phase of this thing is a technology trigger. An idea strikes and a technology is born. You see it on the newspaper, you see it in the magazines, you see it in the expositions, fairs, but no equipment, hardly a prototype or a concept is only developed. No equipment, first generation equipment is available. It's just happening in the tech world. And they say that it's a technology trigger. This takes 2 to 5 years. This takes 2 to 5 years. After those 5 years, the initial breakthrough developers, and they will be able to draw some funds. If somebody is a startup, then they will be able to draw some angel investors. And finally, in the initial period of 2 to 5 years, they are able to create the next stage of hype tool or the hype curve, and that is the phase of inflated expectations. That is a stage in which first generation equipment would come up. Nobody, the end user, which is mainly the patient or the healthcare provider, basically, we are talking in the healthcare system only. So nobody is benefited till this stage, but a huge hype will be created. And the only benefit would be of the conference managers, magazines, because they will get huge advertisements, sponsorships, stores, because the developers want to showcase their technology, and they know, as I said that in the movie which we recently got fooled about, that if you create a big hype, at least you get the first line in users who would purchase that equipment and who would start using that equipment. If you are interested in examples, the example of first technology trigger these days, as per the Gartner study, is brain-computer interface. People talk huge about BCI. It is basically an articulation between a brain and a computer, which will convert your signals into a computerized equipment, and then it will create a chain of actions. So that is BCI, but it is in the technology trigger stage. It's just a concept in the mind of some tech world. Right? Another very important technology, as I said, is human augmentation. They say that gadgets which will increase the human capacity, like Google Glass. But that is again in that stage of technology trigger. Right? Then there is a stage of inflated peak of inflated expectations. ग्राफ थोड़ा ऊपर बढ़ गया है, थ्रेशोल्ड पर आ गया है, एक्शन पोटेंशियल पर आ गया है. I hope you understand. That is the peak of inflated expectation. If you're interested, again, as per Gartner, there are few modalities. Like number one is IoT. You go to any tech world. 3 months back, I was in Frankfurt, and I got this hype curve also from there only. I will be very frank. IoT is a buzz everywhere. But that is the peak of inflated expectations. None is benefited by this technology as on date, as per the Gartner study. The only thing which is getting benefit is the conference managers, the magazine publishers and all, because they're getting huge advertisements. Because the investors are pushing a lot of money. Because they have to create a hype. IoT, big data analysis. If I'm not wrong, big data is petabytes, sir? More than petabytes or petabytes. Big data analysis. Again, a very new thing in our world, but sir would agree, BDA is a big thing in tech world. Hadoop is a company which is offering short-term courses also, how to analyze the big data. And it's a totally different line to analyze and draw trends from a big data, which is in petabytes. And it's real time, flowing in volumes. Sir would agree. So that is another thing. That is in the peak. After, and this in this peak, you get the first generation equipments coming up. After that first generation equipment, as I said, the peak will nosedive. This is Gartner's hype tool. Most of the technologies will nosedive. And in this nosedive, we will see that we call it a trough of disillusionment. When it reaches a low point, we call it a trough of disillusionment. It is a point of disappointment for all the investors, for all the tech world people, all the passionate people who know that this technology has some future. I'm not saying that technology is bad, but it is dying. There are many factors. There are market factors, political factors, social factors. Lot many factors are there. I'm not saying that the technology was bad, but eventually it is nosediving. So that is the thing. So that is the part we call it the trough of disillusionment. If you're interested in some examples, I can just give you one or two. Augmented reality is in that stage, that it is dying. And here investors become aggressive. They battle it out. They put more and more money. They come out with better packaging. They come out with aggressive advertisements. They come out with second generation equipment. Based upon the initial responses, based upon initial experimentations, based upon live feedbacks, this is the time they push their last gasp and they come out with the second generation equipments. And mind you, it is still not happening. If you are there, you are still, entrapped in that hype curve being, projected by investors, which sometimes they are startups, they want to make money, they want to sell out their product, and they want to make money in short term. Technology may be good, but it's not happening. And this is the stage where you get the second generation equipments. Now, when they are just nosediving, we are putting pressure, it's a kind of free fall, and so that's the thing. Just 2 more minutes. So this is, and in this stage, you have technologies, as I said, augmented reality. Then in the next stage, you say there is a slope of enlightenment. The slope of enlightenment is some technologies from here starts picking back again. Some kind of repolarization. So these are the technologies which are actually staying, but they are again not happening. So it will take another 2 to 5 years for them to survive. Now when they survive, then they reach a plateau of productivity. So that's the final stage. That is the final stage, they call it plateau of productivity. And if they reach that stage, this means 20% of target audience or target users have tried to adopt that technology. It may happen, and these you should look for, and you will be surprised that in this phase you will find only 2 technologies. One is medical device connectivity, which means a device can be connected to other devices in the hospital system, and another is hospital or enterprise content management. These are the 2-3 technologies which have actually adopted by 20% of people of target audience as per the study, and these have reached the plateau of productivity. Others are still in the hype curve and hype cycle. This was the only thing I wanted to say, because a lot of things happen and we have to understand what is it all hype about and how can we go, gaze and see through this. Thank you. Merry Christmas to all. Happy New Year to all. Thank you.